Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another experiment where today we're taking a look at if the English leagues were flipped. So it's one of the ones that we can get off the wonderful Steam Workshop, so shout out to those guys. I'll make sure to try and make sure there's a link in the description for that. But yeah, like I say, Premier League having teams from the Vanarama National League South and North, and obviously the Premier League teams back down in the Vanarama National League South and North. So it's a big flip. You can see here a bunch of teams in this one, which is like Concord, Blyth, Leamington, St Albans, all in there. And then as we go down, you can see in the Championship, there's Dulwich Hamlet, Dorking, Weymouth, Billericay. And then we go down further. These are a lot of the National League sides. So Solihull, Eastleigh, Boreham Wood, Grimsby as well in there. And then we go down again in League 2. You've got Bradford, Bristol, Cambridge, Carlisle, Colchester, Crawley, which I believe this will be kind of the teams that would be in this division. And then you've got the Vanarama National League, where there's a few more bigger teams in there, a bunch of championship sides as well. And then they are also split between the North and South, with the likes of Man United and Man City in the Vanarama National League North. So it'll be interesting to see who gets relegated from that. But also Vanarama National League South with Southampton, obviously, along with Chelsea, Arsenal, a bunch of London clubs, including West Ham and Crystal Palace, I should say. So what we'll do is we'll jump ahead, take a look around, see how things go, and just see how the land lies in the end. Okay then, so we are 2 years on, so there are a couple of things we can take a quick look at. First up, we'll look through the leagues and see who's won and got promoted and all that sort of thing. So we can see Fylde and Alfreton are the champions of the Premier League, so that's interesting to see. They'll obviously be in the likes of the Champions League and that sort of thing. So that'll be interesting. So take a look at Alfreton quickly. They played in the Champions League, or were they not able to? Yeah, so they played in the group stage, and they took on the likes of Olympiacos, Shakhtar and Club Brugge, where they unfortunately looks like they lost every single one of those games. And then they continued to lose like every game in the Premier League. So they won the title, but then it looks like they've actually been relegated. So they're actually in the Championship. That is mental. Sutton and York were past winners of the Championship. As we go down, we see Leyton Orient Sutton as well. Again, League One winners. So they've been promoted twice in a row. Is that right? Yeah, they'd have been promoted twice in a row. Wow, impressive. Ipswich and Cambridge in that one. Man City and Ipswich in the Vanarama National League. Okay, so that's interesting. Looking here. I see. Okay, of course, because I was thinking, what? There's Premier League teams in there, but of course there will be now, with Man United, Man City getting the recent promotion. Chelsea and Tottenham are going to be fighting that out still. That's for sure. And then we look at Vanarama National League North. We can see Liverpool and Leeds getting promotion previously, along with Man City and Man United. Liverpool being able to play in the Champions League. Is that because they've won it? They may have won. They won the Europa League. So they won in the final with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scoring a penalty in that one to win it. Wow, impressive. Lowestoft, no match for a mighty Liverpool team who looks very, very good there. It'll be interesting to see what kind of transfers have been made in the divisions. So if we go to transfers, let's take a look at kind of the high value ones. Why are we at the bottom? We should be at the top, and switch that round. Moise Keane going to Juventus for Everton. Actually, let's go right at the beginning, because we can see here, look at that. Phil Foden left for PSG. Calvin Phillips and John Stones left to Real Madrid. James Justin and Webster left to Newcastle. Riyad Mahrez to Barca. Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Newcastle. That's one thing that would be interesting, actually. If we take a look at Newcastle, they're in the Vanarama National League North, and they're still spending big money, I think, from what it looks like anyway. It was 74 million in the first season. And then 23 million in the second, where they've lost a lot. And then they've also signed Nicolas Otamendi on a free as well. So they're still spending money. We can see, again, more players leaving clubs, English clubs, certainly. But a big one here, Totti moving to Sutton, who are obviously who've got promoted 2 seasons running. Let's take a look at their transfer history. Have they been spending much money? 1.9 million there, and 2.5 in this season currently. Looking at the Premier League, let's take a look at Alfreton. So what's happened to them? They've got Cameron Jerome as their manager, the 36-year-old, which is interesting to say the least. A lovely kit. A lovely, lovely kit. Transfer history, though. Let's take a quick look. They've not spent any money, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, considering how they did with winning the league. Obviously, they were then relegated, but it didn't look like there was much change otherwise. What about Fylde? Have they spent any money to get that win? 400,000, 2.5 million. It's not much. I mean, there's a lot of signings, but just not much money being spent. Let's take a look at the FA Cup. Because I think I saw, there you go. Man City and Liverpool have won the FA Cup in the last 2 seasons. But let's jump ahead again. Let's see a few more and see how things are leveling out. Wow, I can't quite believe what I'm seeing. Sutton have actually won the league following the promotions. So they won back to back to back and then won the league. I mean, I don't think anyone's done that since Derby, was it? Who did that, getting promotion and then winning it straight away. Fylde then managed to get the title back. So there's a few teams up there who are obviously still fighting for that big stuff. And if we take a look at Sutton, we're obviously in 2025, so we're a few seasons on, and this is where they've started to get a bit of money, 27 million. So they managed to spend more money in the season we've just seen the start of, bringing players in, and that's continued as well in the season after. That is big money being spent. Jeremy Ngakia being one of those players, and Isaac Hayden as well. Some interesting ones there. Let's go down the tables though. Sky Bet Championship, Portsmouth winning that one with Ipswich with the promotion as well. We've got that there. Man City, wow, okay, so they're in the Championship along with Man United, so there was no stopping them getting that promotion. Altrincham also getting promoted there, so that's quite interesting. And you can see it looks like Man United and Man City have both managed to hold on to a lot of players anyway. Looking down to League 2 though, Chelsea are the holders with Man United winning the season before, Arsenal being promoted along with Tranmere and Hartlepool. I guess because clubs aren't being able to get promoted all at the same time and all really quickly, it may damper their ability to kind of go up the leads later on. So if they don't do it early, they may kind of struggle. West Ham and Liverpool being the other teams being promoted. I mean, look at that. You've got 7 teams who are all above 100 points. That is madness in the National League, because you've also got the likes of Chelmsford, Slough, Accrington and Doncaster all getting relegated. Chelmsford only winning 2 games against Bolton and Plymouth, drawing a game against Slough, and then the rest have just been beatings from other teams. Then the Panorama National League North, how many teams are still in here that are big names? You've got the likes of Hednesford, Basford and FC United and Redditch all being relegated straight away. Sheffield United winning that league though, and Everton the season before. And then Fulham and Southampton winning this one in the last 2 seasons. So some big moves there. History with regards to transfers though. Any more big name transfers in the lower leagues? I mean, there certainly are. And they are moving away from the leagues rather than being signed by them. As you can see, I mean, again though, look, Sutton bringing in players at some more money being spent on them. Man City's still able to buy players though, and same with Man United, so they're not really being in much detriment for that, along with Arsenal as well. And it looks like Ollie Watkins has gone to Southampton, which is a bit of an interesting one, that's for sure. But let's jump ahead again, I think. We'll then take a look at all the cups and that sort of thing, as we'll be 10 years on from the start, and we'll go from there. And things are looking like they're getting back to normal, unfortunately. Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Southampton, all in the Premier League, along with West Ham as well, a little bit further down. And it's been a Manchester kind of total battle. Otherwise, Fylde is the other club up there who are sitting in 8th, top in that section. We are another 5 years on, so we're in 2030, and we can see that there has been a few things that have gone on. Let's take a look at Fylde's transfers, because this is the club that you'd want to probably take a look at with regards to cash and injections and that sort of thing. Wow, there's been a lot of money spent. £71 million spent 5 years ago on a bunch of players. Then we've got 83 million going onwards. Then further from that, 103 million pounds on the likes of Kane Lewis Potter from Portsmouth, Jaden Braff from Salzburg, Jose Soto, Giovanni Lo Celso, Timothy Pembele, a bunch of good players to be bringing in. They're also selling a lot. Like in this season, £73 million worth was sold, which is quite crazy, really, when you really look at it. And you've got the likes of £21 million being brought in. Finishing in 8th isn't too bad, really, considering. And it's obviously helped them because they were able to win the league 3 seasons in the last kind of 10 or 9, I should say. And that's really shown them being able to get up there. Looking at the Championship, though, Leicester will be getting that promotion, along with Guiseley and Welling, which is interesting because I'd have thought that there'd be maybe a couple more big names up here. But maybe that now it's got to the point where the bigger teams aren't able to get those promotions. Sheffield United's here as well in Sky Bet League 1 with West Brom, and Wrexham getting promotion as well. Some more relegations with Altrincham, Tranmere, Solihull and St Albans. Looking at League 2 though, it looks like West Brom and Everton were the ones in recent years to win the league, with Aston Villa being promoted as well. But I guess only 2 teams being able to be promoted from the Vanarama National League really does limit the teams that can come up. Wolves and Middlesbrough this time. The fact that Newcastle haven't left yet the National League is crazy. They have so much money, as I'm sure you're fully aware, but they have not been able to escape the National League just yet. With Watford, in fact, getting relegated from the National League down a division, which, again, is quite astounding, really, all things considered. If we take another look, though, at the Vanarama National League North, we can again see Blackburn and Coventry getting that promotion. It's a little bit more steady. Farsley, who I'm pretty sure started in the Premiership. Yeah, unfortunately for Farsley Celtics, they have been relegated every season. In the first season there, 18th, then bottom of the Championship, then second from bottom in League 1. Then further from that, we can see they were bottom, second from bottom, and 18th, 16th. So poor Farsley, they haven't had quite the time they'd probably have hoped for. With their performances getting them relegated all the way back down to the Vanarama National League North. But some interesting stuff there, at least. Otherwise, looking in Vanarama National League South, let's see what we've got. We've got the likes of Luton and Plymouth getting that promotion there. Otherwise, again, looking normal kind of teams, even with the fact that other than Swansea and Cardiff are probably the 2 biggest names in that division. If we look at the FA Cup, though, we can see, wow, okay, so Ipswich have actually won the FA Cup a couple of times. We can see some of the big names in there still, because obviously they can still get in the competition. But the fact that Ipswich have won it a couple of times is very, very impressive. Dwight McNeil being a fantastic signing for them. Same as Scarlett, Andrian as well. He's been very good. And Leo Gramey, the Austrian player who played for Fylde for a while, has moved to Ipswich, which is, again, a very, very interesting performance. Some good signings, that's for sure. If we go down again, we can see the Carabao Cup. It is almost all generically very normal. I guess Sutton and Forest Green being the winners is because, in the first 2 seasons, because teams from the Premier League haven't been able to get that promotion. And now that they're back into the Football League, they're kind of taking back over. So it's not too surprising. You can see Fylde have won one of the Community Shields, who seem to be the big team otherwise. We can see that the likes of Man City, Man United, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City again, Tottenham, Arsenal under 23s, which is really weird to think that Arsenal under 23s are going to be in this competition. Because obviously Arsenal would have been in the competition at some point, I'm sure. So I'm not sure how that quite works. Could they have played their under-23s? I don't know. I'm not going to look too much into it, though, because it would just confuse me. English FA Trophy, though, Newcastle won it most recently, so they have won a couple of trophies, but it's just not been able to get promoted, which seems to be the biggest issue. Otherwise, obviously, the under-23s, Premier Divisions and that sort of thing all looks very, very normal. But we'll jump ahead another 5 years just to see if there's any changes and if things do go completely back to normal, or if there are a few teams like Fylde being able to kind of hold on in there in the Premier League. All right, so I mean, Ipswich have managed to get into the Champions League, I guess because their exploits have led them to the Europa League final, maybe? Yeah, beating Man City on penalties as well. Very, very impressive there, that's for sure. Ipswich becoming quite a force in the Premier League and in Europe. But we can see there are a lot of teams now getting more and more involved here. West Brom making Champions League football. Southampton in Europa League 2. Sheffield United, Kettering still up there. West Ham, Sutton still there. Fylde's hanging on by a thread, with Eastbourne Borough, Gloucester and Welling all being the ones relegated. And it has gone all the way back to normal now. No new... It's normal Premier League business with the top teams being there. Portsmouth getting promotion, though. That's very impressive. And it looks like they've had promotions before. Sutton must have been relegated at some point as they had to win the league. Boston United getting promotion. So Newcastle United, oh my God, they made it out alive. That's quite impressive. Look at that. Finally, after a long, long time, they made it out to the Vanarama National League, into League 2, Championship, and obviously now fighting for the playoffs. And getting that promotion. But what is interesting is, as you can see there with Newcastle, is that as soon as they get out of the National League, those teams seem to fly up the table. But before that, they struggle so much just getting out of the National League because of how many good teams there are. Tonbridge is there, Burnley, Fulham, teams there that are getting promoted. Interesting to see Tonbridge winning the league as well there, which is quite cool. Especially as the teams before that are all teams that are Premier League quality, other than Portsmouth, who are trash, obviously. Wink, wink. Otherwise, League 2, let's take a quick look. Oh, I've just jumped straight past it. You can see Derby topping that one with Huddersfield up there, Bradford and Morecambe. Port Vale and Solihull not doing great, getting relegated. Then in League 2, you can see obviously Newcastle's win over there on the right-hand side. Farsley, unfortunately, getting relegated after what looks like a promotion they would have had initially. And then we've got the Vanarama National League North, which is there, which it looks like my game might have just crashed. So it just can't handle the truth. That's what it is. I'll be back with you in a second. All right, we're back. I fixed it. Nobody panic. It's all good. I just thought it would be quite interesting to take a look at kind of how the English clubs are lined up now. Obviously, with the development of the teams getting back into the Premier League, we've still got the likes of Ipswich, Fylde, Weymouth, Sutton, Kettering, Portsmouth, Exeter, Boston, Barnet, all higher up the table than a lot of Premier League teams that are currently playing, as well as some other big teams. So very, very interesting there. And you can see the likes of Sunderland are still above Blyth, who are in the Championship, even though they're in the National League. So it just shows that I think reputation ratings and that sort of thing can be massive when it comes to Football Manager in getting players and rising up the table. But it's very interesting, at least, let's say that. You've got Stuart Adams playing for Barcelona. No idea who that is. And Matthew Francis and Reece James. Is that Reece James? Reece James. It is. Playing for Barcelona. Interesting. But if we go back and take a look at the likes of the Premier League, we can take a look at the transfer history, I think. And all what we could do is, if we see... We can't go by others, can we? So we'll have to go by... just generally, but wow, okay, 122 million being spent. Is there any money being spent by some of the stereotypically smaller sides? Sutton still the only one really who's spending a bit of money. Portsmouth is there, more by Sutton here as well, bringing in Noni Madueke, who's a pretty decent player. Chairguard coming into Weymouth, which is an interesting one. You've got Forest Green's up there as well. So there is a bit of money being spent in the Premier League by some of the bigger clubs, smaller clubs, I should say. But there's still looks like they're going kind of in between clubs. So you've got like the likes of Luis Alzate going from Ipswich to Weymouth, and Weymouth to Ipswich is Mascarell. So that's interesting. Let's take a look through though quickly. If we just skip through to the bottom of the divisions, we can then take a look at the FA Cup. So no real changes there. Ipswich is the one team that we saw there outside of the usual guard that has given us a bit of an interesting one. Carabao Cup though, any changes? I mean, Man United's just taken over by the looks of it. That's kind of ridiculous. More and more trophies for them. These beating Portsmouth though in the final. Fylde got the Community Shield in 2026, but that was the last one other than Man United. Man United's just become really good, which doesn't make sense because they're not in real life. Papa John's Trophy though, Newcastle won it in 32-33. Curzon Ashton as well in 31-32, which is interesting. But otherwise, it's the under-23s teams that are taking over that one. FA Trophy, Brentford winning it most recently, beating Luton on penalties. So there you go, a bit of an interesting one. If there is anything else you'd like to see in this, let me know, because I can obviously always come back to it and take a look at this season. Anything specific, stuff I've probably missed because there's so much to look at in Football Manager. But we will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave any comments down below of any other experiments you want to see, and I will catch you in the next one.